What is up, my friends? Your weekend has officially started, and I hope that it is all going well for you so far. Welcome in to Friday night's late night agenda. I want to make one thing really clear before we get going tonight. If anybody wants to come in and try to belittle, undermine, or mock my community, calling us a cult or anything else, you're going to be removed. Don't waste your time. Don't waste my time. Nobody forced you to be here. If you've got nothing nice to say or you don't want to contribute in any way, either sit back and watch silently or piss off. It's that simple, because we've a lot to get through. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to start off first, though, by saying, again, sincere condolences to Manchester United, their supporter base, and of course the family of Dennis Law, who sadly passed away this evening. And all of our love, condolences and best wishes, of course, go to the entire Manchester United family and their supporter base. A great of the game, a giant of the game, and incredibly sad to hear of his passing tonight. Just wanted to get that out before we got underway, because I know it's a sentiment that everybody will respect in the chat as well. So again, much love to the United fan base, to Dennis Law, to his family of course, and everybody else who were sad tonight at the passing of a real modern football great, or a real football great I should say. So thank you to everyone for your attention for that one. Right, we've a load to get through tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and look, I'm going to say it out straight. It's not going to be pretty, it's not going to be a fun stream, but it is, I think, stuff that needs to be said and that needs to be called out. So we're going to go through it tonight and ask the questions. Why is it everybody else can spend money? Why is it that Erling Haaland can be tied down to a 9.5-year deal in a few months, but Liverpool can't tie down any of their players? You know the answers to all of the questions, and the answers to the questions are because your owners, FSG, are cheap and have no interest, in my opinion, of keeping the club at the top table of world football. They just want to keep the asset value high. So I'm going to go through tonight and give you my take on it, ask you for yours as well. We're going to read you a letter that's being sent to the club on behalf of supporters who are unhappy about ticket price increases. We're going to cover that. A bit of breaking news as well, that it looks like Alphonso Davies is going to remain at Bayern Munich, according to David Ornstein. We'll cover that, and lots more bits and pieces over the course of the next however long we're on, because truthfully I don't know how long the stream's going to be on tonight. We'll see how it goes. Club would need to drop off for FSG to put money in. Opportunistic signing means when it suits our cheapness. Fans are walking alone, sadly, and RIP Dennis Law. Thank you, Sam. So I think a good way to start tonight's stream would be to read out the letter that's being sent, or has been sent, to the football club on behalf of fan representatives. Now, I'm going to read this letter out to you, and I'm going to see what you guys think about it. So the letter reads, "Dear Andy, we write to you regarding the forthcoming discussions about ticket pricing at Liverpool Football Club. As representatives of the match-going community and many more supporters worldwide, we feel it's vital to emphasise the importance of preserving the identity, accessibility and cultural significance of Liverpool Football Club for all its fans at home and abroad. The club's success has been built on and continues to be fueled by a unique relationship between the supporters and the team. A relationship that has cultivated the iconic atmosphere of Anfield, inspired generations of fans and contributed significantly to the global appeal of Liverpool Football Club, not to mention many of the landmark victories at Anfield and beyond. That culture is not accidental. It's the result of deliberate choices made by fans and club leadership over decades to preserve and nurture it. Now the club faces another choice, whether to prioritise short-term financial gains, money we believe is largely inconsequential to the sustainability and success of Liverpool Football Club, or to invest in the long-term preservation of the community and culture that defines Liverpool FC. This unique identity sets the club apart from so many others worldwide and remains its greatest strength. We understand that football is a business and other clubs make choices to target the richest people interested in attending stadiums without consideration of the consequences for culture and atmosphere, but football is also a community. We know the club will argue that every penny generated is reinvested, but the revenue from ticket price increases for general admission and season ticket holders represents a fraction of the club's overall income. With the club now having a bigger stadium an 11,000 strong corporate offer, more matches in the extended Champions League format, and greater income from that competition, plus the prospect of a greater share from the new £12.25 billion TV rights deal. This further lessens the impact of year-on-year price rises, the impact of which on loyal supporters, many of whom are already stretched, would be profound. Look, I think it's absolutely understandable where the supporters, clubs and those around the club are asking for the club to not put the increases on. The local and match-going fans need to be looked after and nurtured, and I've got no issue with any of that. I think everything that they've written there is correct, particularly the cultural significance of Liverpool Football Club, the COP and its fans, and that does need to be protected, and future generations need to be fostered, and that's what makes the club special. I have absolutely no problem with any of that. I would just add something onto the end of it, if I may, and that don't forget about the other fans. You know, by all means, local fans should be looked after. Matches should be accessible to people who grew up in the community. Of course it should. That's what makes the club what it is, and that heartbeat is special. But, you know, there are other fans as well who aren't all millionaires and don't all have the money to come across and pay what it takes to go watch a game of football. So just a little bit of consideration as well for those people. But apart from that, certainly echo those sentiments from those who wrote that letter to the club, and I hope it is addressed for them, because they're right. You know, it is a modest amount of money that the club would be generating by putting the extra few quid on the ticket prices, and at a time where the cost of living is difficult for many people, I fully echo those sentiments, and I hope that they get the response from the club that they'd like. But, you know, I would also like for us overseas fans and non-local fans to be given consideration of time on these things as well. But again, as I said, completely back the sentiment of where they're coming from. So today, I'm sure you're all aware that Manchester City signed Erling Braut Haaland to a new 9.5-year contract that will keep him at the football club until he's 34, removing the buyout clause and giving him a wage that's rumoured to be minimum £500,000 a week, plus bonuses that will take that figure upwards. They've also agreed deals for Omar Marmoush. They've already brought in players and they're looking to bring in more. This, by the way, with a new sporting director. But when we had a new sporting director, our owners, well, we had to wait. Nothing could really be done. Everybody had to get their feet under the table. These things take time. It's a process. We don't understand it. But here's what we do understand, FSG. We understand City making signings. We understand Chelsea making moves. We understand Villa making moves. We understand that, yes, we have had a record generation of about £700 million in turnover. But there's one part missing here. The will of our owners to support the manager. I read something from Arne Slot today speaking about the situation, and the last couple of lines of it stood out to me. And he was responding to Erling Haaland's contract renewal. And this is what Arne had to say. We know how good we have to be every single day to compete in this league. It's not only the club you're referring to. Chelsea have also spent 1.2 billion and United have spent an incredible amount. Every team spends a lot of money over here. That's why it's such an interesting league to be part of. Some seasons, this club, Liverpool, spends a bit more. The other seasons, the club spend a bit more. That's not true, by the way. We never spend a bit more, but we'll get back to that. That's what makes this league so intense and difficult to win. But that's also the reason why we all want to be here. Because you want to compete against the best, with the best. Now, here's the part that I find interesting. We're very happy with the team we have at the moment. We're still able to compete with all of these teams that are spending an incredible amount of money. I don't care what anybody else says. That to me is a sign that he's wondering where the money is. Now, he has to say he's happy with the team and he's happy with the squad. He has to say that, but he's not showing that when he's not playing Elliott and Chiesa, and they're not getting a look in, but they're taking up places on the bench. They're not there. They're surplus to requirements if the right offer comes in. So I think Arne Slot, maybe when he came to the league, slightly underestimated the expenditure of other clubs in it and maybe thought that Liverpool would compete. But they've done nothing. They've done nothing to back this man. They've done nothing to have any goodwill with the fan base. All that they've done is got the people who they're always on side with them to once again come out and lay the groundwork with the excuses, with the pandering to the owners, and it's pathetic. And I sat here last night and I finished my stream and I had my head in my hands and I sat in the chair and I thought to myself, give it up. Stop it. Knock it on the head. It's not healthy. It's not good for you. It's not good for your family. Give it up. And then I got up this morning. Well, I lied to you. I say this morning. I got up this afternoon because I keep sleeping weird hours. And I looked at my phone. And my phone was inundated with messages, with emails. Then my phone started ringing. I had people who I haven't spoke to in a while, but people who want a voice to speak up. And it really made me understand that despite what people try to make me believe I amn't that. I'm a realist. And I'm somebody who just wants the best for the football club. And I always keep underestimating the support that I have and the people who feel like they need a voice. It's very easy to come in and vilify us, like that idiot earlier on, trying to call us a cult, not understanding what we're about, not understanding why we're angry. We're all aware we're top of the league. Nobody's questioning the football we're seeing on the pitch. Nobody's unhappy with Arne Slot on the team and the fact that we're top of the league. But we are intelligent people. We have seen these things happen before, and we've seen the fall away. And we've seen it time and time again. And every window, without fail, the excuses come out. The James Pearces of this world come out to measure expectations and temper the beliefs of fans. And it isn't good enough. And people need to call this stuff out. Now, I spoke in support and I stand by those fans who want ticket prices knocked down. But this can't be the only time that the owners of this football club are called out. When it hits people's own pockets, it needs to be called out when they don't spend. Because as that letter correctly pointed out, revenues in football are growing, never ending. TV rights deals are incredibly high. The valuation of our own players is going up and up. The valuation of the club is going up and up and up. But we're not getting the investment. So whichever side of the debate you're on, I hope that you're unhappy with the lack of support the managers have been given financially from these owners. Because despite the fact that yes, we are top of the league and yes, we are doing great, don't take that for granted. That can move quickly. That can change quickly with an injury or two. And we shouldn't have to always find a way to be smarter than everybody else, to outpunch our way. We have the resources financially to compete. We aren't asking for 300, 400, 500 million quid to be spent every window, despite what Ian Doyle and some others try to vilify us all with. We're asking to be competitive in the market. We're asking for Liverpool Football Club and their owners to do what others have done, which is invest in the squad, invest in the future of the club, and pay the people who've got the success a wage that signifies their importance to the club and their stature in world football. Right now, Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk and maybe Trent Alexander-Arnold have all sat there looking at the low-ball offers the club have given them, offers they deem unacceptable to them. This should be called out at no end. And don't let everybody take you to the other extremes of this, to say that, you want to put the club at risk. That's just there to undermine you and belittle you yet again. We have to call this out, or Arne Slot and the boys are going to be ended up being disappointed again with another season that could have gone one way, but maybe didn't go all the way we wanted it to because of that lack of investment. And I'm going to keep calling out that lack of investment. So here's the thing. Vilify me, mock me, slag me, undermine me, whatever the hell you want. But I'm going nowhere. You're going to have to deal with me. You're going to have to deal with us to have a voice. That voice is growing. And it is a voice of discontentment at the minute because these owners are a joke. These owners are not fitting of owning this football club because they've no interest in keeping it competitive on the pitch. They get lucky with managers who are overperforming. And every time we've seen a job description come up or the new manager that's come in, go back and read through the articles and tell me how many of those articles gave an indication that one of the reasons that they looked at Arne Slot was that he outperformed bigger budgets around him. Go back and look at them, you'll see it. And that's great. But that's not great if you don't give him more money to then outperform. You need to give him what everybody else is getting and then imagine what he could do. Not just hope that he can trickle over the line by outperforming with the measly money these owners are giving him. Imagine what he could do with real backing. Imagine what Kloppo could have done with real backing. How many of those title races we lost to Manchester City may we have gotten over the line with if we didn't have fatigue, if we didn't have an injury or two to players in a short squad? So rather than belittle us all, look inwardly and ask yourself, do they have a point? And if they have that point, jump on board with us. Because we want the team to be successful. We want the manager to be successful. Nobody here is toxic towards the manager or the players. But the owners need to be called out for what they are, which is cheap opportunists who don't have the stomach to make this club competitive or don't have the will to do it. One or the other. But either way, it's not good enough and it needs to stop. And I'm going nowhere. Nowhere. So say what you want, do what you want, bring it on. I'm standing for my community. I'm standing for people who don't have a voice. And I'm not trying to make out like I'm some messiah. I'm just somebody who doesn't give a damn about intimidation, about belittling. I don't care. Been through it all before in my life. I've fought harder battles than this, and I'm going to stand up for this club till these owners do what's right. And then maybe I disappear. But until then, as long as people need a voice, as long as people feel like they aren't being listened to and they're being belittled, well, I'm going to stand here with you. It's your choice if you come along with us. It's your choice if you think I'm in the right or not. But either way, I promise you, everything I say, everything I do comes from the heart with sincerity and wanting the best for the football club. Not to enrich myself. I could have done that easier. Could have told the line. Could have been a yes man. Could have gotten the access. Could have been interviewing Klopp. Could have been interviewing Slot. But that's not what I'm about. I was brought up to say what's right and wrong. And these owners are a piss take. So apologies for that little monologue. But I wanted to set out tonight's stream straight from the start. What it's going to be about. Where we're at. And what we can do about it. Thank you. Right, I need to call through some of these. Bear with me. Where was this one? Okay. Rusba. Sorry, I'm going back to the chats I've missed now. Time to accept reality. Move on Jota, Nunez and one of Robbo and Costas and replace them with better options. So, today, Rusba, I seen Ben Jacobs' post about Diogo, and I thought somebody was winding me up, but he does have a niggle, and this is the problem. Nobody doubts Diogo's ability and quality, but unfortunately he doesn't seem to be robust enough to get through a season, and we can't carry half players through the seasons with small squads. It's just not workable. If you're going to carry what we think is a tight and relatively small squad, you need to make sure that these players are robust enough. And if not, you need to start making changes. It's no good to the manager if Jota's out half a season, if Chiesa isn't trusted, if Elliott isn't trusted, if he doesn't rate Kwanzaa. It's no good having those players in the squad. If they're no good to the manager, somebody needs to grow a pair and make these difficult decisions. And I don't know Richard Hughes personally. I've never met the man. I've never spoken to him. But I also don't know what he does. And most importantly, many Liverpool fans don't understand what he does from day to day because we don't hear from him. We don't hear from Michael Edwards. What is going on at the club? Why aren't these contracts sorted out? Don't tell us we don't understand. We're just tired. We're tired of being top of the league and feeling like we're being taken for a ride by the owners. We're tired of being belittled and told we don't understand. We understand you're cheap, John. So I'm going to say it again. Where is the money, John? Honestly, where is the money? Because it's not being invested into the squad. It's not all being spent. Don't take us for fools. Just be honest and say you haven't got the stomach for it. You don't give a fuck about it. And sell up. The days of the goodwill and the league title wins and the Jurgen Klopps, all in the past. Eaten bread soon forgotten. And these owners have done nothing. Nothing. Other than enrich themselves, look out for themselves, increase the value of their asset at the expense of God knows how many trophies. Not good enough. Jack. Hey mate, do you think it's a real possibility that Jota and Nunez leave this summer? I think there's a real possibility that Darwin leaves either this month or in the summer. In fact, I would say it's a distinct possibility. No idea about Diogo, mate. I've no idea. Diogo is such a tough one because we all love him. You know, you can see how good he is. You can see what a difference he makes. But like I mentioned a moment ago, you can't carry half players through squads. You just can't. You need everybody to be available where possible. And Jota's come in now and played one little appearance off the bench and is niggling again and might need more time away and didn't train with the team yesterday and had to do an individual session. It's not screaming robust, and it's not screaming that the manager can rely on that number 9 for the next 20 odd games. Mike said FSG won't spend a penny ever again, but others keep giving them chances and excuses, but knowing their track record, they have to be forced out. I keep asking myself, Mike, what it might take for FSG to have a change of heart or a change of stance. But here's what I don't understand. Edwards was brought in to be their chief football operator and to go out there and start a multi-club model. Hughes was brought in to get the contract situation sorted and to strengthen the team. Now, since these two gentlemen have come into their jobs, has anybody anything positive to say about the work you've seen so far? Diaz feeling like he's been cheaped out and Barcelona are coming in for him. So we may well end up selling him on, but bet your bottom dollar we're going to want top money on that, and nothing wrong with that either. But you can't keep underpaying people. Let them see what others are getting in the market and then cry poor mouth to them, while at the same time briefing the journalists about all the great moves you're making, the record turnovers we're having, the fantastic kit deal with Adidas, the new commercial sponsors that are coming on board, the new stand you're building with all the extra commercial revenue from hospitality seats, and cry poor mouth. It doesn't add up. The math don't math, and people are sick of it. According to SBA, the Saudi source, Mo 98% done. Virgil also close to joining Al Hilal, but for next summer. I don't want to believe it. Craig, thoughts? No idea. No idea. I wouldn't have a clue where to start about how likely that is. But Sky did a piece last night on Mr. Turki Al Sheikh. Like I've said to you guys before, a serious player in Saudi sport culture. Very close to the Crown Prince, very powerful man, and he's taken an interest in this Salah situation and posting about it. He doesn't step in unless things are getting serious, and he has ties to Al Hilal according to Sky Sports as well. So you've every right to be worried, but again, I'm going to just ask the question, why is it when it comes to our contract renewals, we don't understand how difficult they are, and these things take time, but not for others? You telling me that any of our contracts are more complicated than the one Manchester City just sorted out for Haaland? 9.5 years, £500,000 a week upwards, tying him down for the rest of his career, removing release clauses. You trying, and all the commercial stuff and image rights that goes along with that. You're trying to tell us that that's less complicated than renewing Salah and Virgil, who want to stay. And you do it with a straight face, and you think that we're going to buy it. Fuck you, is my answer to FSG. It's going to stop. It has to stop. People need to wake up. So Jammy Jam Jar said, as United fan Craig, appreciate your tribute to Law at the beginning. Sad the last United Trinity is gone, but you show even the greatest rivals can show respect in times of sadness. I say it again, and I'll keep saying it, mate. We are rivals, but we're rivals built from respect. Respect from each other's cities, respect for the football and culture and heritage, respect for the greats that came before us as well. And if I couldn't sit here tonight and wish my best to Dennis Law's family and the United family in general, I'd be, what would I be, mate? I wouldn't be about sport, you know. So I appreciate it, but you know, got to do it because it's right, it's deserved, it's earned. If they got 2 or 3 players signed up and brought in a left back, the fans would be happy. No one is asking for lots of new players just to be competitive. We're asking for what others can do, Stargirl. Others who maybe don't have the revenues that Liverpool have, who maybe haven't turned over the money. I've noticed that a lot of the players we're being linked with are a quarter or half the price of the ones we're looking to sell on, or free. And we'll move on to speak about one of those potential frees in a while, which is Joshua Kimmich. And there's nothing wrong with an occasional free signing, like a James Milner or maybe a Joshua Kimmich. But it can't be the core strategy. This cheapness and opportunistic stuff needs to stop. Opportunistic doesn't always mean cheap. I've discussed this many times before. But going into a market without a plan and sitting back and hoping, that's embarrassing. And that seems what we're doing right now. So rather than go and have a strategy of 1, 2, 3 players we want, go get them and get it done quickly, get the contract sorted out and keep the vibe around the club good and the continuity good and everyone happy. Nope. Undermine it with your cheapness yet again while you're cowering and hiding over the other side of the Atlantic, trying to rinse more money out of the Red Sox fans. It's pathetic. It honestly is pathetic, and I don't get how anybody can defend these absolute fucking clowns anymore. Klopp raised the club to world level, but the owner screwed up everything he built. That's why he left. That's the reason, said Rob Dance. Again, mate, I don't know the reason he left. I absolutely would believe that fatigue, whatever the cause of that, was part of it. As he said himself, fatigue, tiredness, couldn't, have the same energy levels required for the job. And I've said to you before, as fans, we feel browbeaten at times as well. So I can imagine how the manager feels. And people take too many things for gospel that managers say. They have to say these things. They have to defend their squad. They have to speak positively about the club. They can't come out and throw things under the bus. They can't come out and belittle owners. But we can read between lines. And Arne Slot has already noticed the significant spending in the Premier League from others, while he has to come out and front up to the media every week and answer difficult questions about contract renewals and transfers that aren't his doing. So I've incredible sympathy for Arne and the position he's in. I don't know a single Liverpool fan that isn't supporting the manager and the players. This isn't about the manager and the players. When tomorrow's game kicks off, we'll all be here cheering the boys on, hoping for the best outcome, wanting the 3 points and celebrating it together like we always do. But when these windows open up, we have our chance to speak up. We have our chance to ask where that investment is. And I don't think we're stretching ourselves to keep pointing out the fact that we're linked, we're monitoring, we're watching, we're fans of, we think highly of, and all the other phrases that get touted out every single window, other than Liverpool Football Club would like to announce the signing of ... There's no excuse to not get these contracts sorted out. Either you're spoofing and you want them to go and you're lowballing them, or you're cheap. It's one of those two. And that's it. It is one of those two. Because you don't get people who want to be here and want to stay not signing a contract unless it's derogatory, paltry, low. Whatever you think about me or my take on these owners, surely you understand that. This briefing of Mohamed Salah's contract offer still on the table just tells you one thing. It's an offer he doesn't want. It's an offer he ain't accepting. And they're hoping that he can't bring himself to leave the club and he accepts their lower ball offer. And Virgil probably the same. And if they do walk out, I promise you without fail, you'll see all the articles out there because the journals will be briefed about it, that the club did everything, didn't want to stand in the way, all the usual bullshit that you're going to be told, because of the great service, blah, blah, blah. No, you cheaped out, you shit the bed, you want to replace the higher earners with cheaper young alternatives, and you can't even do that. You can't be honest with anyone. It's pathetic. Froggy. Hey Craig, I'm sure you're sick of seeing my name. Keep what you're doing, love your content, and you're an absolute legend. Thank you, mate. I have wobbles every now and again because I doubt sometimes my own potential toxicity, if that's the right phrase. I'm well aware that at times what I say can be negative. I take no pleasure from it. I promise you I'd rather have what I said at the start of the window. Get the midfielder and I shut up. But once again, we're in a situation where you're going to hear people go, but the window's still open, but the window's still open, but the window's still open. It is. But come on. There's no plan here. Cam Wiki said, we're only asking for a couple of reinforcements in in deficient positions. That should solidify the run-in. Exactly, Cam. Exactly. Craig, one question, said Darwizzy. Could you see Arne Slot leaving Liverpool if FSG don't spend? Not in the short term, no. But in the long term, like you're seeing with him with referees, you can only keep your cool in these situations so much before the standard of officiating eventually breaks you down, or the cheapness of these owners and the players you lose because of it. It is embarrassing. And I've no doubt that Arne Slot is coming in to do his best. But as we've all pointed out, and as we've been told, he's a head coach. So it isn't on him. He's there to coach the players to the best of his ability, pick the 11, and he's doing a great job. A fantastic job. And all of us just want him to have a little bit more support from those above him. And not support like, good lad, little pat on the head. I mean, get the wallet out. Act like a big club. The club that you demand the top dollar for when selling people and when selling Liverpool around the world, and you're using the cop and you're using the tradition and the history and the story and the special relationship, as the lads pointed out in that letter to the club, between the fans and the players, and you're monetising that, but then at the same time looking down your nose at the same people who put you in that position as owners, who make this club what it is. You're happy to leverage all of that for your own financial gain, but you haven't got the stomach to come out there and back your own staff and managers. Pathetic. Keith said, we need at least 2 players, defender and a midfielder. I want to read you through some of the news from today as well while we're here. So bear with me. Sorry folks, I'm just playing catch up from yesterday. So Manchester City have got a deal done for Omar Marmoush. A deal which will be about 80 odd million euro all in. He'll earn £300,000 a week. And yet our Egyptian superstar, who's redefined the Premier League era for Liverpool, is sitting there with a paltry offer that he isn't happy with, while his countryman and compatriot saunters into Manchester City on a massive deal with huge money on the same day, on the same fucking day that they announced a £500,000 a week upwards deal for Erling Haaland for 9.5 years. And they have charges, potential points deductions, many headaches. They had a terrible start to the season, so they've showed hunger to go out into the market and back their manager to rebuild so they have a better end to the season. We are the opposite. We have a great start to the season, have seen that the squad are getting fatigued and injuries are taking their part, have seen that others are trying to catch back up, and sit on our hands and do nothing other than undermine your own club. I don't know a Liverpool fan who's happy at the minute. And that's incredibly sad to say. I said this last night. Many people messaging me, talking to me every day, say, Craig, why do I feel this way? Why am I top of the league? Why are we top of the league and why am I pissed off? Because you're scared. Because you've seen it happen before. And you've seen it fall away before. And you've seen all the memes about the cycle of Liverpool. Start the season great. Then Mohamed Salah Christmas tree. Then curse. Then Liverpool get injuries and fall away. Then in April the promise of a bigger summer. All the way around. It's just the same rinse and repeat, spoof and bullshit every single year. And the brown nosers just keep lapping it up because they've got a seat at the table. Excuse me. Haaland become the first player in the Premier League to earn over £500,000 a week, and with bonuses and image rights, that figure is going to be much, much higher. We had similar turnover. Funny how we can't afford any of that, isn't it? Funny how our wage bill is apparently one of the highest, yet other clubs are paying ridiculous amounts of money. Meanwhile, we could be about to lose Luis Diaz to Barcelona because he's feeling undervalued. And I'm sure somewhere that Edwards and Hughes are sitting there thinking, oh, we'll have a bit of this. 69 million for Luis Diaz from Barcelona. We've gotten a few years out of him at, 65 grand a week? And then they won't give him an approved deal. One that he absolutely has earned. Nobody in our chat here, or anybody who watches Liverpool, will think that he does not deserve to be over 100 grand a week. Other than the people that run the football club. That are happy now to probably sell him off to Barcelona and bring in some other young hungry lad who they hope will eventually become the level that we want. Not good enough. The officials, by the way, for the match tomorrow, just in case anybody's interested: referee Andy Madley, VAR Paul Tierney, and Madley referee 2 Liverpool matches this season so far. The 5-1 victory at home over West Ham, and the 3-3 draw with Newcastle at St James's Park. Another bit of breaking news today came in from the Telegraph that said the Premier League is standing firmly behind football's 3 p.m. Saturday blackout following claims that it is helping to fuel piracy. You can take what you want from that one. I personally don't like 3 p.m. blackout. Understood the reasons for it being implemented previously, but it is absolutely bewildering to me that people cannot watch every single Liverpool game or every single Manchester United game or every single Arsenal game, Chelsea game in the UK, but you can watch it in any other part of the world. It's weird. So this piece here coming in from Germany said Liverpool are interested in signing Joshua Kimmich on a free transfer in the summer. Initial talks with the player have already taken place. Now look, on Joshua Kimmich, no problem if he comes into Liverpool Football Club. No problem with the calibre of player. No problem with it being a free transfer. But why is this always the case with us? Bottom feeding. Bargain basement FC. And sometimes there are deals that make it worthwhile. And if you can get him in at a wage that are acceptable, that isn't going to destabilise the dressing room, I think most people would be fine with that. But you don't bring in Joshua Kimmich and then spread him around 3-4 positions. You bring him into playing where his best position is if you bring him in. So on Joshua Kimmich, I'd love to know what everybody thinks on this one. I'm absolutely open to it. Very sceptical about the link, to be fair, but open to it. I don't know what he'd be asking for wages-wise. I don't know what Liverpool will be offering wages-wise, but I've also seen other clubs show interest in him. You also have to look at the situation with Alphonso Davies and ask, is this just a negotiation tactic to get Joshua Kimmich an improved deal at Bayern Munich, or are Liverpool seriously interested in it? If we're seriously interested in it, well, there's no reason you can't get a pre-contract agreement done. Contracts up at the end of the season. Liverpool don't play in the Bundesliga. Absolutely possible to get this one tied up and boxed off for the summer. And I'm sure give a little bit of positivity to the fan base. So why isn't that done if he's genuinely a target? So yeah, love to know your thoughts on him. To me, this is kind of like the Thiago signing all over again, albeit with Thiago we did pay the money to get him a bit early, but without the injury risk. Because, you know, Thiago's a better footballer than Joshua Kimmich, but far bigger injury concerns. Joshua Kimmich, probably less flashy than Thiago, but a very steady pro, experienced pro, has won it all. And I'm sure would be an asset to any coach in the changing room as well. Looks like a model professional. So if he's earning 320 grand a week right now, let's say, or 300 grand a week at Bayern, what makes us think on a free contract that he isn't going to be asking for wages upwards of £450,000 a week, because there wouldn't be a transfer fee involved? So then the wage bill again will go out the window. So many of these decisions, so many of these links just don't make sense. How do we have a wage structure if we can then go out there and bring in free transfers on a higher wage? Would that not break the wage structure? Would that not insult the people who are already at the club? So many things that just don't make sense to me. But on Joshua Kimmich, let's wait and see how it pans out. I get the feeling eventually he stays in Munich, personally. I think players like Kimmich want to stay in Germany. The German FA want to keep them in the league, and Bayern Munich are usually where the money's at and the success is at, so that's usually where the top players are in the German league. So let's wait and see how it all pans out, but of course I'm sceptical at this moment in time. Sonny Hughes, let me get a couple of super chats up here that I've missed in the meantime, actually. Sorry, this one first. One second. Sorry, Nick, I'm just trying to read through this one. Let me get up here. So sick and tired of fans moaning and yapping FSG out. Facebook, Instagram, X, all full of FSG moaning. This club will always be managed differently, as it should be. I don't care who the owner is. I appreciate your viewpoint, Nicola. I very much firmly disagree with you on this club should be run differently. It shouldn't. The ticket prices aren't different, are they, Nicola? You know, because we're not getting these transfers and we're such a special club that does things in a special way. You know, do they do that with the tickets? Do they look after the fans like Bayern Munich do or German football do? No, they don't, because they're only about the money. And the owners don't give a shit about you, Nicola, me, or anybody else, as long as the value of their asset keeps going up. And if you're so sick of fans like me and others moaning about FSG, respectfully, why are you here? You know, do you not think it's a bit hypocritical of your good self that you moan at the rest of us, but yeah, here you are spending money to have that moan, to try to undermine a viewpoint that you don't agree with? Much easier for you just to go about your day and not listen to us, or not come in and be part of a chat that you clearly feel very differently about. And that's okay. Like I've said, you're entitled to your own views, but I'm fed up of people coming in trying to laud over the rest of us that they're better than us, or that our views are unwarranted. If we disagree, that's fine, but don't come in and think you get to undermine the rest of us, or be superior, or tell us that we don't know what's going on, or we don't understand the club. I know the club inside out, Nicola, and I know the fans are annoyed for a valid reason, and I respect that you think differently. But like I said, I didn't knock on your door and ask you to come in here. You came in here by choice. Why? If you don't like it, why subject yourself to it? It's because you want to feel morally superior, isn't it? Like many others that have come before you and will come after you. It's okay. I get it. I understand it. You're wrong, but you've got your right to say it. And while there are people like yourself, you know, fighting the good fight, being morally superior to the rest of us, this shit show will carry on. Managers not getting backed, players being run into the ground, but you know, the good folks like yourself will just keep tipping the hat to FSG and fighting the good fight. Good luck with it. Do we just not talk to players? We tried to sign them. Zubamendi's been talking to Arsenal for 6 months and that's almost done. Don't know. You know, we're not in these conversations or negotiations. People are looking at this with different eyes. Some people feel like this is a long game to get rid of Virgil and Mohamed from the club for Michael Edwards, who doesn't want these high wages and older players here. If there's one thing we do know that's been attributed to Michael Edwards over the years, it's a desire to not take players in their 30s into longer deals with higher money. There is some understanding to that as well, but sometimes you have to break that thought process, especially when you're looking at players like Virgil and Mohamed, who are, you know, difference makers in a huge way, and the captain of the football club. But I don't know how they can't get any of these negotiations done. It all seems rather strange to me, Suleiman, mate. I don't know. Lucky Charm said, we're with you, Craig. Well done. Oh, no, look, that was a comment that was supposed to come in and get me angry from Nicola, because I've dealt with Nicola's type before. You know, don't understand why everybody's so angry about the owners. Yeah, here you are in a stream that you know is only going to be filled full of people being angry at the owners. Just say you want attention, or just say you think you're better than the rest of us. It's okay. You're not, but you can say it. Just the same way I get to call you out for wanting to be superior to everybody else, Nicola. But there you go. Makes me wonder if Haaland's extension has happened because they know they're going to get away with the charges. I think very differently. I think it's a show of strength. 2 fingers. And again, City trying to control that narrative around this whole situation. I think whatever happens in this, you're going to see both sides of it claiming victory. Whether it's the Premier League or Manchester City. They'll find something in it to claim a victory on. But, you know, we'll have to just wait and see, mate, what does happen. What am I supposed to respond to? You said maybe respond to the comment. I've no idea what comment you're talking about, Uncle Drew, or what I'm supposed to respond to it. I feel like I've responded to every single comment I've read out here, in all honesty, mate. I don't understand how we don't do anything. I look at the big 3 signings and I'm sad. But we see Robbo struggling. Get out and get the kid, Kirkes. Yeah, but what you'll see is, can't carry 3 left backs in the squad. Can't move one of them out in this window. So it'll be dragged on to the summer. Doesn't matter if it does cost us. It doesn't matter if we're being targeted in the fullback positions. It doesn't matter that it's clear that we need to be strengthened there. It won't happen for the reasons that you already know about. Let me bring this one up. Stephen Lee Reggae Dragon. Stephen said, I don't understand how we don't do anything. I've already done that one, mate. Sorry, Stephen, bringing that one back up. But thank you, mate. I'm done worrying about the contracts now. Whatever happens, I'm just enjoying having Mo and Verge while we still do. Yeah, I can't do that myself, mate, to be honest. I can't just say, sure, it doesn't matter to me if they're not here next season. It does matter to me, especially when you see how good they've both been this season. I get fatigue sets in, and it's difficult to keep pushing back and difficult to keep fronting up and being angry every day. I get that. I totally get the weariness of it all, mate, but we can't give up on it. We can't just bow down to it. We have to call it out. Sonny, did I miss your super chat, bro? No, I literally just brought it up there 2 seconds ago. I mean, I'm not going to read every super chat the second it comes in sometimes, folks, because if I'm in the middle of a conversation or trying to make a point or trying to cover news, I do have to get back through super chats sometimes when I can. But I'll always try to get to them, and certainly if I haven't read it out in 5 or 10 minutes, by all means, give me a little nudge. I've heard we've extended Doris the Tea Lady's contract for 5 years, and they're monitoring the situation with AC Milan's deputy kick cleaner. Yeah, I'm big fans, monitoring, keeping an eye on, ready to move. I heard generational talent thrown in there as well, and thank you, mate, for making me smile. Naturalist said, such a joke to hear we can't have 3 left backs and 2 can't do the job. Even getting Kirkes would be Hugh's lazy way out. Not bothering to look around. Do you know what? You look at Chelsea as an example, and they are an extreme example. I grant you that. But they have players that they've so many of them because they've brought in players that they think can improve them. They've lads like Chilwell and all not getting a sniff, training away from the first team on occasion or whatever. And we can't bring in a left back, even though it's very, very clear to everybody that left back is a massive position for us that needs strengthening, because Robbo, despite the manager saying that, again, it was a fitness issue with Robbo, here we are now in January. He's had more than enough time to get over the summer stuff, to get back to fitness. And unfortunately, it just isn't the same Andy Robertson. And nobody wants to say that because he's a legend and we all love him dearly. But we can't be sentimental FC as well. We need to go out there and do these deals and get these players in. Jake Beale, thank you, mate, for gifting a membership. Ben Richardson said, treating our biggest stars, Mohamed, Virgil and Trent, like this is shocking. See, on the Trent thing, I'm genuinely torn. I don't know what's going on there. You know, I don't know if the offer he has is maybe really nowhere near what he wants, and he's trying to hang on in there and stay with Liverpool, but they're not playing ball with the numbers that he'd like. I don't know. Truly, I have no idea. But all it would take, I think, for Trent to again maybe win around people like me who are somewhat unsure, is just to do what the other two have done and say that you want to be here. Like I've said many times, fans can understand the allure of Madrid, fans can understand this, but fans can't understand 6-7 months to make a decision on what country you want to play football in. You know, that's getting into taking the piss territory, so something needs to be done to clear it up soon. Craig, who would you rather have as owners, FSG, Saudi or Elon Musk? Don't know. I don't want Saudi because I don't want any nation, so it's nothing against Saudi Arabia or their people or their businessmen or women. I just don't want a nation owning a football club. Wouldn't matter to me if it was Ireland. Elon Musk, I mean, genuinely wouldn't know what to expect. Yeah, honestly, wouldn't know what to expect. Do you get the cost cutting Elon that's gone into X and ripped it apart? Do you get somebody come in to just want this to be a showpiece or something he's proud of? Honestly, wouldn't know. But why isn't there other options in the question? Why isn't it, would you rather a different hedge fund who are more ambitious? Would you rather a billionaire like Steve Ballmer who has some type of a background in sports? Why is it always extreme options that people try to say to us when they want to try and make out like we should be perhaps grateful for FSG? Why isn't there a balanced counterpoint to it? Why does it have to be this really, really rich, wealthy nation who... You know, most people don't want nations owning football clubs, or a billionaire who's pretty divisive at the minute? They're not fair questions. Can you say happy birthday to my friend Rahi? Of course, Rahi. Happy birthday, my friend, and have a wonderful weekend. City spent 160 million on signings and 250 million on Haaland. I mean, I know, mate. Like I've said, they went and got Marmouche when they wanted him, and he's coming in. They got the player from France who they paid a huge markup for, and they've got the kid coming in, I think, from Palmeiras as well. Meanwhile, you know, for us, we have to be grateful, because we don't understand. You're doing great, Big G. You're voicing for us fans. Thank you. Look, I keep saying this. This is named at you, by the way, Vinu. I don't talk out against the owners because I want to be known as the guy who talks out against the owners. I want to be known as the guy who gets on with his fellow fans and enjoys football and loves the club dearly. This is just an unfortunate circumstance that the Super League really marked a card for me, where I just lost any trust, and then what I've seen in the years after has not been any indication of owners who really want to build success. They want to build value of their asset, which is fine. You know, nobody's going to argue with the main stand or the any road end or the training ground or any of that stuff, but you also have to show that also increases the value of their asset, so it's kind of a win-win. But, you know, where's the player signatures? Where's keeping the talent that's here? And more than this, it's just they're allowing the narrative to be seized at the minute by negativity around the club. How many column inches have been written around Virgil, Mohamed Salah and Trent, around their futures being up in the air? How's that going to look to a potential incoming player who may become a club legend one day? Is this what they want to see coming in? Well, if I get to the top of my career and I keep Liverpool in a great position, when it comes time to me being a senior pro at the club, are they going to cheap out me and push me out the door? They're going to turn fan opinion on me? Are they going to play hearts and minds with me against the Liverpool fan base? It's just not a good look. In terms of Trent, I'm slightly optimistic, said Jack Dempsey. As Madrid have had months to prepare an offer, if he wanted to leave, you'd think he would have already signed with them. Just my opinion, maybe I'm delusional. I very much hope you're right, Jack. I've said this, I've been at pains to say this all the way through. I want Trent to stay. Of course I do. There's no doubt in my mind we're a better team with Trent here than without Trent. But I do find the situation a bit tiring as a fan to see it just constantly one side seizing the narrative and the rest of us just having to hope and hope and hope. The club shit the bed on this one. However we dress it up, they've taken too long to sort it out. They've let it get to this point. They've lost the power in the negotiation, and Madrid smell blood in the water. So what a strong club would do is come out there and get it sorted out and make a statement. Stick two fingers up to Madrid and say he's going nowhere. Now another report from Marca said, breaking, Alphonso Davies is close to saying yes to Real Madrid, which is pretty much at odds to Bayern Munich close to an agreement with Alphonso Davies over a new contract. Only small gap between Bayern Munich and the 24-year-old left-back's expectations on a proposed 4-year deal. Premier League club still waiting in wings, but compromise now likely to be struck, and that's from David Ornstein of The Athletic. So I'm pretty much thinking Ornstein's got that one right, and Marca are once again just shithousing and doing what they do on behalf of Madrid. Tony Hoare said, City's owners love football and winning. Our owners love money and couldn't care less about winning. Yeah. But they'll show up, though. When it comes time for an L Trophy, the jet comes in, and then it's off up to Aberdeen or wherever it is to get the new yacht and play around the golf up there and, you know, live the billionaire lifestyle. Meanwhile, the rest of us are stuck here scratching our heads trying to figure out if Arne Slot's going to be able to pull another rabbit out of the hat in a miracle. Nick said, hey Craig, when are you coming to Toronto? We're trying to get something in the books for September, maybe, Nick. Yeah, trying to get something in the books. Just trying to figure out a few little small bits and pieces, maybe, before we confirm it. But the plan is to hopefully get there in September-ish, sometime around then. Vase said, do you think Trent will start in front of Carvajal? He will, until he makes a mistake and the fans turn on him. And then the white handkerchiefs will be out and Carvajal will be screamed for. But initially, yes, he will. Oh, I do love this one. Oh, please, Stuart. I'm reading this out, mate, because it's fucking hilarious. I have to unfollow this now. I absolutely cannot stand this Craig bloke. He's an absolute nobody and talks to the owners like he's important. He knows absolutely nothing. Do you want to take a look in the top corner there, bitch? Do I talk to the owners like they know me? Well, I know they know me, mate, because they've undermined me many times. And I don't know anything. I've forgotten more about football than you, asshole. And secondly, unfollow what? You hate me. Why have you followed? You know, it's funny, Stuart. Arseholes like you come in to try and be morally superior. You're nothing but a fucking arsehole, Stuart. So, unfollow what? Why would you follow somebody you hated? Is there something wrong with you? Do I need to get an adult? Do we have a problem? Because, Stuart, it doesn't work, bro. I see through your shit. Now fuck off like a good little boy and go play with the other children. And allow me to do what I do best, which is put little bitches like you in your fucking place. So again, unfollow, fuck off, don't let the door hit you on the way out, and keep this same energy if we ever bump into each other. Because I've dealt with thousands and thousands and thousands of you over the years. People that profess to hate me, but yet every time I pick me nose, you're there asking, is it green or brown? People that hate me, but every comment I make, you're there. People that hate me, but on every fucking stream, in there like a good little gimp. You're fooling no one, Stuart. You just want attention because mammy didn't breastfeed you. It's okay, mate. I can put you in touch with a good counsellor that will maybe work through these anger issues with you. You can sit in the group with the other little bitches over in the corner watching me do what I do. So I hope that addresses your concerns. I hope that you've gotten the pat on the head and the attention that you need, mate. But ultimately, I've dealt with you before. Thousands of you. You're all assholes. You're all pussies. And all that you do is come in to try and shit all over the rest of us. Fuck you. Fuck your opinion. Off you pop. We good? Groovy. I'm unsubscribing. I fucking hate this Craig lad. Why did you subscribe, asshole? You subscribe because you're Craig curious. It's okay. You're not on your own. Many people are Craig curious. I'm a lovable guy, really, Stuart. But you just keep brown nosing old John there and stick with the morally superior top fans. The real fans. Not us. Not us pretendies. The real fans. Again, Stuart, I'm no shrinking violet bitch. I stand my ground. I'll do it to your face. Anytime, any place, anywhere. No problem. Don't come into my community and think you get to shit all over the rest of us. If there's one of us in this conversation, mate, who's irrelevant, it ain't the guy with 300,000 followers and nearly 1 million across social media. It ain't the most watched Liverpool fan in the fucking world. It ain't the fella that you're in here talking to because you've got no life. Remember that. I earned my place. You're irrelevant. Now fuck off. There's a reason why I'm sitting in this chair and you're not. Don't ever take my kindness for weakness, by the way. I'm not. I'm ruthless. I can be. I show respect where it's given and where it's earned. But I'm also very, 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 very ruthless. Don't ever mistake that. People have made that mistake before. How's that worked out? Brian, how are you? Just popped in. The point about ticket price protests is related to FSG's cheapness. It demonstrates how they're only about the valuation of the club. Winning is great if it comes cheap. And that's from somebody living in Boston there, Stuart. It's funny that, isn't it? It's almost like you're full of shit, mate. Yeah, it's a difficult one, Brian. I fully stand, by the way, with the point raised by the local fans. It absolutely should have a Scouse heartbeat on the terraces and on the Kop. 100% should have. And they're right about the trinity between the fans and the players, and they're right about that special relationship that makes Anfield what it is, and the socialist roots of the club, which I hold dear to my own heart as well. And again, I'd love them to see a model, something like in Germany, where, as pointed out, you know, what is ticket sales these days to the overall turnover, or what would a couple of quid on a ticket not being put up really do? I know that the club will come out and they've said things like the cost of utilities and all that has gone up a lot over the last few years, and I'm sure it has, but you can absorb that cost, you know, like Bayern Munich have said before, could charge fans a lot more, but do we really need it? We know FSG don't really need it because they won't spend Christmas. So, and thank you, Brian, appreciate you, mate. It's always nice to have a sensible, rational post rather than the I hate you, I'm unfollowing. It's called unsubscribing, by the way, as well, Stuart. But do you know what I'll do, Stuart? I'll give you the chance, right? I'll give you the chance, mate. 1 second. Here's a simple one. I'll put it to the people. Will I quit? Yes or no? Let's see, Stuart. Let's see if the people are on my side, or if there's more people like you out there that want me to quit and want me to go away. And if the vote shows that they want me to quit, I'll quit. But hey, what about the other way around if I'm right, Stuart? Will you send me a little email apologising for your bitchiness? For making assumptions about me? For making derogatory comments about what I know and don't know, who I know and don't know? You won't, because you don't have any morals, mate. What's my favourite place in Ireland? Belfast. Love Belfast. And my home county of Wexford as well. And by the way, this vote's getting closer. 82% say no, don't quit. 18% say do quit. Lovely. If this gets to 51-49, you won't see me again from tomorrow, but don't let that stop you. There could be an upside to Liverpool not winning the league or anything. It'll show fans who show loyalty to FSG that we need players. They're tight owners and hopefully a backlash. But we've had this before. We've had this in seasons before where we've fallen away a bit because of a lack of expenditure, and it hasn't really caused the deluge, if you wanted that, of people being angry about it. So 20% of people want me to quit. This is very interesting. I'm genuinely finding this funny and interesting. But like I said, if people don't want me in the fan base or around, I won't be here. It's very straightforward. I'm a simple man. Right, Mark, let me get this one up. There's a point when you keep sticking 50p's in a fruit machine when you know you have to cash out. My advice to FSG is time to cash out. Yeah, look, they'd be cashing out with a hell of a lot of money dropping out of that fruit machine, wouldn't they? But I don't know this for a fact. It's just an opinion. Please quit, Craig. You're very unlikable. From an account that's asked to be let back in 3 times, by the way. Okay, no problem. Bear with me. I'm just thinking something through. Mark, we're taking no shit. No more trolls, be warned. Brian said, none of what you spoke of is relevant to FSG, unfortunately. This disconnect will continue between owners and fans, and it's sad our interests are not aligned. It sucks. It does, and it does suck, and it is frustrating, but I know other YouTubers and other Liverpool fans who are critical of the owners are feeling equally as tired. Yeah, and equally as worn out trying to push back, but I guess what do? Do you quit or do you carry on? And and I've said tonight, if that vote shows people want me to quit, I'll quit. I won't be here tomorrow. I won't do the watch along, and you won't see me again. All of this to me is something I love. So again, if I'm not wanted, you have your chance. Vote away. Tim Price said, what deluded Muppets have said yes to the poll? Liverpool supporter of 45 years. Everything you say about the owners is absolutely spot on. Keep up the good work. Apparently, that's not the case with everybody, mate. But look, that's okay. I expect people watching my stream, perhaps, to be of a similar mindset to me. But I certainly don't expect everybody in the world to agree with me. But I am a democratic man, as the Discord will tell you. And if people don't want me here, then I won't be here. I want to be here. I enjoy being here with you all, but I'm not going to stop calling out shit that I think needs to be called out. Really hope you don't leave, man. Look, as somebody else said in one of their streams, and I don't want to call out names on this because, you know, each person has their own journey, but it's tiring. I've said this before, like, it's tiring coming on, like, tonight, you know, it's going to be an aggressive, confrontational stream where people need to vent and get stuff off their chest. And I'm good with all of that, and I'm good with any interactions, even with people who disagree. If it's a sincere agreement or a sincere point, we'll go back and forth with it, but I'm just not up for anybody coming in to try to shit all over us and think they're better than us. You're not. They're not. Genuinely, 19% now want me to quit. Why? Genuinely, I'd love to know why those people are here if they don't like me, by the way, but fair enough. Thank you, Jonathan, but honestly, mate, yeah, it's been a lonely month, man. I'm telling you, it's been tough. I said to you guys last night I was struggling, but do you know what always gets me is the people that come in to stick the boot in when you're down. That's tough, but that's life. If you get more people like Stuart, you'll be the 500th subscriber by Sunday. Keep the good job, man. Stay on track and don't worry about shit people. I don't know. I'll think about it, as I've said. We'll see how the poll goes. So far, by the way, there's 2,000 people in the chat and we've had 850 votes. I do vote if you get a chance. It's your chance. If you don't like me, it's your chance to get rid of me. Do you do YouTube full time or do you have a job? I do a full time now, Kieran. Yeah. First 4.5 years or so, it was like a passion project that cost us money to set up. To be honest with you, it was we're probably about 18 grand in the hole when we started up initially over the years, up until a few years ago, and then we registered as a business and went full time nearly 2 years ago, something around that. And yeah, look, thankfully this is my job, but it is more than a job to me emotionally, but it's a job as well, yeah. LFC Daz said, I hope you don't quit. Trolls are in the mud. we'll see what the numbers say, as I said. Anyway, let's get back. We'll leave the poll up there. We'll get back to some more news. What's this one? So, just some of the numbers around the Omar Marmoush move to Manchester City. Approximately 16 to 7 million a year gross at Man City, which is about £300,000 a week. And for context, the LFC transfer room and Florian Plettenberg said his wages previously at Eintracht Frankfurt were £35,000 a week. So he's gone from £35,000 a week to just shy of £300,000 a week in one move. That's an incredibly big jump in his wages. Chris, thank you, man. As I said, these past few days I've really found out who does have my back with regards to, people emailing, messaging, phone calls. I was on the phone most of the day today, Chris, with people excuse me, trying to support me and keep me going. But I'm a really insecure person, like I've said before, and I don't want to be where I'm not wanted. So if people think I am, this is why I put that poll up, because there was some comments in there tonight who obviously don't like me, and that's cool. But if my own audience doesn't want me to be here, then of course I'll quit, like I've said. But I also understand we're all emotional at this time, because there's a lot of contrasting opinions and viewpoints in your mind at the minute. In mine, especially as a Liverpool fan. And yeah, that kind of juxtaposition between top of the league, but this big ball of anxiety in your stomach, wondering, oh, is it going to slip away? I don't know. And none of us have the definitive answers to that, but Lucas, 1 second, bro. Are you worried about this contract debacle by FSG? 100% worried, Lucas. So I thought it would have been sorted before January. I was never really 100% sure what was happening with the Trent deal, because it was a little bit different in that it feels like Trent has more power over what happens with him versus Virgil and Mohamed, who I feel are kind of at the behest of the owner's offer. So we know they want to stay. We know they're performing well. But whatever the offers are clearly not ones that they feel comfortable signing. So there is an impasse, and the longer the impasse goes on, the more I feel there is an opportunity for resentment, maybe, to set in a little bit. Oh, okay, Brian. So we're going to do this again because of this. I'll reword it then, Brian. Okay, we'll go with it this way then, and we'll see what happens. You could have just sent that to me on text, Brian. You didn't have to be so generous with the big super chat. But thank you. I had wondered that when I initially posted it, to be fair, but I didn't know if it was people. Do you think I'm going to quit? Will I quit? Ooh. So I won't. Yeah, that's a fair point, mate. But let's see. Sure, if the numbers are similar, we'll know. If Musk buys the club, my Liverpool shirt goes on vacation. I don't think you need to be concerned about Elon Musk buying the club. I really don't. I think a lot of the stuff around the situation has been misinterpreted. So even the stuff around his father, I watched, I'm sure you've probably seen the clips yourself. I've watched the interview, or a clip of the segment where they talk about Elon Musk and the club. And his father kind of answered it from the perspective of, hypothetically would he want to own it, I think. As if the father said he'd want to own it, I'd want to own it, you'd want to own it. I never thought it was a serious thing. And then you throw in the Manchester United part of it where, Elon Musk himself has said he grew up being a United fan. So Brandon said Fabrizio Romano posted that another team was in talks with Frankfurt for Marmoush. I'd love to know who that was, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, even if it was us, I don't see a world where we could have matched that offer of wages to him, going up from 35k to 300. Like, fair play to Marmoush's agent and him for getting paid, but yeah, for us, that's a huge jump up. And then you look at the point of the valuation as well. Like, we were seeing figures of about 55 million euro being mentioned with a summer move for Marmoush, and now you're seeing this total figure for Man City being about 75 plus 5 in euro, which I guess is the tax for getting it done in January and the impact of what it may have on Eintracht Frankfurt season. So yeah, and maybe that's where our club differs. Maybe our club doesn't feel like they want to or need to pay that premium that it would take in January. I reworded it, Dale. I reworded it, mate. And it's still 12% of people. We're going down, though. That's all right. Do you know what? About that Romano thing again, real quick, right? So, he said that he doesn't... or there was another club maybe in. Why wouldn't you name it? This is what I don't understand about these things. Like, as soon as you say... another club was in the mix for Marmoush as well, everyone's next question is going to be who, because let's be honest, we're all curious people, and I'd love to know who the other club was. Arsenal fans don't realise Saka's finished. So it is a really interesting conundrum when you have a player like Saka, Michael Owen, Wayne Rooney coming through at such a young age with such undoubted talent, and then the managers' jobs are so pressurised that they kind of feel like they have to play these guys at every opportunity. Fans want to see them. Young footballers are hungry and want to be out there on the pitch. But you would also hope that lessons have been learned from the mistakes of what happened with Wayne Rooney and Michael Owen and how they were played so much so young, and then the tail end of their careers, or maybe they didn't have the longevity that, a Ryan Giggs, a James Milner, a Gareth Barry have had. And if I was an Arsenal fan looking at the amount Saka's been played at such a young age, I'd feel pretty concerned as well. Who would you like to see start at striker on Saturday? Is Jota injured? I'm not sure the very, very latest on the Ogo. There was a report, I think I have it here. Yeah. So Lewis Steele said, Diogo Jota is a doubt for tomorrow's game against Brentford due to a niggle. Liverpool will wait to see if he can train today after missing team session yesterday. That's concerning, right? I don't know the answer to it, but he would have 100% been my starting centre forward, as you've probably seen in the preview if you watched it. I want to ask your advice on something. How do I put this to a poll? I'm trying to figure out. I'm always looking to improve the content, and try to give you the information that you want. So in a preview, is there anything in our previews that you would like added into it? So what we do now is we have a little look over the history of the game between the two teams. We look at the results coming into the games. We look at the head-to-heads. Obviously, my predicted 11 score prediction. Is there anything else that you'd like to see included in those previews that you think would make it a better video? Any of the feedback on that would be much appreciated as well. So we're 200 votes away from ending this poll, and then you have your answer. So if you can, please do help us get up to 1,000 votes, and I'm a man of my word, as I said. I'm intrigued to hear your Marmouche comments. You feeling gooded? Yeah, I genuinely am. Not being jealous of a lot of signings over the years. Not really held any... Not bad blood, that's not the phrase. But I won't lie, I had Omar Marmouche as Mo's successor maybe. Or I certainly thought that he ticked enough boxes for us with regards to his versatility. You know, the numbers he was now putting up in a good league. His set piece prowess as well. You know, if you talk about maybe the uncertainty over Trent Alexander-Arnold, you think, well, there's another great set piece taker. A lot of things that just made sense that you could see it working for Liverpool. So yeah, not gonna lie, gutted by it. But from his perspective, I mean, huge money, huge step up in his life. But I guess you still have that stuff hanging over your head, right? About the charges and what may happen at City. And that's kind of what makes the whole Haaland contract extension intriguing, because I might have missed this, so this is a question that I do want your answer to. But I know there's been the release clause moved out of Haaland's contract, but has there been anything about whether there's a relegation clause or anything in there? Because I struggle to see a world that, let's say City got booted out of the Prem. I don't know what happens, but just hypothetically, I struggle to see a world where he's playing in National League North on 500 grand a week and sitting there going, sorry, signed a 9.5-year deal, pay me. Yeah. So, has anybody seen that one? Because I'm genuinely unsure on it. I've seen that there's no buyout clause. That's been removed. Which, by the way, I was one of the few people that told you there was a buyout clause in that deal. Because when it signed, it was reported there wasn't, and I knew that there was. I'll bring this up. So El Harvo said, Steve from Redman TV going on a rant about fans like us. Look, Steve's prerogative to say whatever he feels. Don't have anything against Steve Hoare at all, to be honest with you. I've always found him to be a pleasant guy. He's entitled to his opinion as well about the club and fans and what he thinks. So yeah, no problem. He's entitled to his opinion as well. Joey McDonald, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC, mate. And of course, me having not seen all of this, I don't really know the full context of it, but fair to say we probably disagree on the owners. But again, as I said, no disrespect intended from me towards Steve. I've always found him to be a pleasant enough fella in the few interactions we've had. Tom said, hi mate, I've just found out you have autism. I think it's awesome that you spread the word coming from somebody that has his own disabilities. It means a lot that there are people like you out there. Thank you. I don't bash on about it a lot because I don't want it to define me, or I don't want people to think that it is a reason for anything. I am me, and the fact that I'm on the autism spectrum with Asperger's is just part of who I am. My son is also autistic and he's also awesome. I'm his biggest fan. He's far smarter than me, more quick-witted than me, and I learn a lot from him every day. But I got inspired by the Smith brothers, to be honest with you, and their raising of the awareness of autism on their shorts when they fight, and you know, their own sister and that situation, and you know, I always said that if I ever got into that territory where I could lend a voice to speak up for maybe people who are wired differently or look at the world through different eyes, or aren't in the status quo, I do it. But thank you. That on a night like tonight, especially Tom, where I'm genuinely not feeling great about myself. Thank you. Zach said, Craig, with all due respect, I truly admire you. I think you should keep the channel going, but scale it back a bit for your longevity. Remember, this is meant to be fun, so try and enjoy it more. It normally is, man, but when it comes into the transfer windows, it's both the best and the worst times, Zach. Best times because, loads of interest around transfer windows, people excited, hopeful. And then, if there are transfer windows where it doesn't go as many of us hope for, it can get difficult. But I think it's the COVID time that made me feel like I like streaming all the time, because it was a big help for me and many others during COVID, Zach, when these were the only human interactions perhaps outside of whoever's in the four walls of your own house. So I don't think I'll ever scale it back. I'm a kind of black and white person. I'm all in or I'm all out. It's one or the other with me in life, mate. I don't do things by half measures. Thank you, Brian. It's Monday. It's Monday's his birthday, Brian, but thank you. Right, we've had 1,000 votes. 14% of people would rather I disappeared, but unfortunately for them, 86% of people want me to stay. So, tough shit. I'm going nowhere. As I said, I won't lie though. I had a few dumps when I was seeing those numbers at the start, folks. You scared me. Shane, R.I.P. Dennis Law, absolute legend, last of the Holy Trinity to leave us. We touched on this at the start of the stream, mate, and absolutely echo your sentiment. A real footballing giant, a great, club divide aside. So, yeah, nothing but respect, man. And I know this is a difficult time for your club and your fan base, but, I know I speak for everybody in the chat as well when we say that, you respect the greats, that they made the game what it is. And Dennis Law was certainly one of those. So, thoughts definitely with you today, Shane, and all the United fans as well. And I know it would be the other way around if it was one of our own club legends. No doubt about that whatsoever. So yeah, thank you, mate. Raekwon, what a name, by the way, dude. Love the name, Raekwon the chef. Craig, new subscriber here, and enjoy the honesty of your channel. I'm sick of the top reds. The new phrase is act like you've been here before in a title race because we want investment after drawing in January again. So I do understand the point, Raekwon, that they're trying to make. I understand they don't want fans getting moany and antsy and destabilising things. I do honestly understand that they have good intention. They want to be behind the club, and they want to keep things positive. That's, fair play. I have no issue with people having a different viewpoint on these things than me or you or anybody else, but it's when they start to try to belittle and undermine the rest of us that I take issue with it. But I think everybody wants what's best for the club, and everybody wants to see Virgil van Dijk lifting a trophy or two at the end of the season. And this is why I try to have a discourse about these things where if we disagree, like I tried to do with the David Lynch stuff, we can do so on a platform respectfully and articulate both sides of these things in a respectful manner. And I don't think that there's enough of that these days, to be honest. I think this is my side, this is your side. You wholeheartedly think all of this, you wholeheartedly think all of that, whereas the truth is there's a lot of stuff we probably cross over on. So as much as I'm a critic of these owners and people love to throw that at me to belittle me, they will have probably seen the amount of stuff I've praised them for if they watched the stream. So for instance, as an example, when loads of people were upset about the appointment of Arne Slot or didn't think he was big enough name, I was very supportive of it and thought it was the right thing. I've spoken about the fact they've done a lot of stuff very well on the commercial side of it, the development around the stadium. The two choices of managers that they've brought into the club have been tremendous as well. But you don't have to like every aspect of the club or the owners. And I think it's incumbent upon fans to speak out if they feel they're being shortchanged. But everybody has their own way, I guess, of getting their point across. And some people feel like they don't want to rock the boat because they feel like that might be adding to the negativity. And I do sincerely respect those other viewpoints. I just don't like the belittling aspect of it towards others. Stephen King has a son named Joe. I'm not joking, but he is. If that's true, I don't care because it's a good joke. But either way, Josh, thank you, mate. Thoughts on our players' fitness levels this season? Yeah, that's a really interesting point because they're probably been asked to maybe do a little bit less in the explosive side of things, although I don't have the numbers to back that up. It certainly seems like it's more measured in build-up and more intentful, whereas with Jurgen at times it was a bit more open, a bit more hectic, chaotic, and we often thrived in that chaoticness. But it's hard. It's really impossible to measure the injuries you don't get. And I do think that Ruben Peters is a genius. And I think that the relationship that he has with Arne Slot is a really one built on trust. You look at the availability rate of Feyenoord of the players, I think it was 92% or above, something like that, first team players available for the manager. And from what I'm reading and been seeing over the time, Arne Slot very much listens to this. So if he comes to Arne and he says the guys can't be pushed too much today, this guy can play 70, it's listened to. So I think we're doing as much as we can in the prevention side of it, but it is still a sport with a lot of explosive movements and runs and a lot of stop-start nature to it, especially now with the added in VR checks and, breaks and play a lot of the time. So, but we are sitting here now with one injury, I guess, as we sit here and we're unsure what's going on with the Ogo. So I'm hopeful that we see the benefit of that in the second half of the season. But then again, you don't want to say that and then feel that people go, see, you don't need signings then. I think you need the signings to even help that side along a little bit more. Joey McDonald, how are you, Joey? Said, I'm a Liverpool fan, 35 years. That speech inspired me, your honesty and emotion. I'm a therapist, 14 years. I was concerned about your mental health doing this. However, now I see your real strength. Joey, people have written me off my entire life, mate, and jumped on my kind heart and you looked at it as a weakness, but I'm not a weak person. When both your parents have killed themselves and you're an only child and you're raising your own family and you're pushing ahead and you're battling through mental health issues, I learned a lot about myself during that time. And if there's one thing I'm proud of myself with, is that I'll stand my ground and I'll speak from the heart. And thank you for that beautiful message, man. It means a lot. White Hammer said, I for one will be glad to see the back of you. Yeah, you're only going to see the front of me as we have a big hug, bro. I always do enjoy. You're as emotional as I am, White Hammer. We're both cranky old men, I think. When's the next video with David? It's not happening again. Unfortunately, David decided it'd probably be best if he didn't continue to do the videos. Again, I talked about it the other day. I don't want to go back over it again. Respect his decision. Respect the man immensely. Yeah, that's all I'll say. Nothing but respect for him. Ian said, I thought Slot looked tired and stressed in his press conference today. Any thoughts? it's a stressful job. And I always say this about every manager at a top club. Look at how quickly they age. You know, Mourinho was a good example. Klopp is an example. It's a tough gig. And for Arne, I have a lot of sympathy for some of the questions that he's getting asked, because he's being asked questions that aren't his job to answer. So, but I think he's managed himself really well in how he deals with the media. I think he just gives this dignified confidence for me when I look at him. I look at him and I just think he's a man that knows he's supposed to be there. He's a man that knows how good he is. He's a man that his actions are what inspires us around him. And I think coming in after somebody like Jurgen, we heard about what a tough gig that was going to be and what big shoes they were to fill. And then the class of Jurgen, of course, to sing and welcome him in. I just thought it'll get to him eventually. There will be times where the PGMOL and some stuff will really frustrate him, but I'm not been nothing but impressed with Arne Slot, to be honest with you. And for what it's worth, by the way, I do think what we do here each night, this conversation we're having around the owners, I do think it makes a difference. I do think the tide's turning a little bit, and I do think that people are going to start to speak up more and expect more of these owners, because that's all they're missing. It's just that final bit. And I think a lot of people will be happy if they just loosen the purse strings a bit and back the managers a little bit more. I think a lot of this would die down. But let's wait and see if it happens. But I do think it's changing. I think a lot more people are, at the very least, questioning the situation or the status quo. The detective, thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Thank you. Right, look, ladies and gents, it's been an emotional one, as I'm sure you're aware. I'm going to go record a quick recap, so maybe people are coming in that didn't get all the news tonight, because I warned at the start it was going to be a fairly emotional video or stream where a lot of hyped up opinions are going to be in. So I'm going to record that, but I'll see you tomorrow for the watch along, 1:45. We'll be live for that one. So yeah, thank you.